Ladies, there are so many things that we can learn from rich people. And if you want to upgrade yourself or your lifestyle in 2020, then listen carefully to these 7 top favorite lessons that I've learned from affluent people throughout the years. My dear elegant ladies, welcome back to my channel. Today's topic is actually a more self-improvement one, and I really want to set the atmosphere for 2020, a year that finally has arrived, and it's truly going to be one of the best years of our lives because we are going to make sure of that. I am personally a big lover of personal development. It's one of my passions in life. It's something that I've always loved doing since I was young and something that I've always educating myself in. Ladies, if you want more topics on self-improvement, make sure you leave a comment because so far on my channel I haven't made too many videos like this, but you know, I'm an open-minded girl, so I'm happy to provide more content like this, but then you have to tell me that. Okay, so I'm gonna jump straight into number 1, and this is actually one of my personal favorites and actually one of my personal go-to strategies when there is a crisis. Ladies, I'm talking about troubleshooting your problems, troubleshooting your current situation. Rich people do this all the time. They troubleshoot, they analyze, they strategize, and they take action. And this is exactly how you should be operating all the time. Ladies, you really need to ask yourself a few important questions. And this is what I mean with troubleshooting. First of all, identify where you are right now in life. What's holding you back in life? Are there any mental blockages that you have? Are there any physical blockages that you have? What power do you have over all these blockages? Well, the answer is that you can actually fix them all. And then lastly, what is a repeating pattern in your life? Are there any bad things that keep happening over and over again? Are there any mistakes that keep happening over and over again? This is the thought process that you should be having when you are troubleshooting common errors in your life or common obstacles in your life. Because once you troubleshoot, that's when you can start analyzing it. And when you have analyzed it, you can start strategizing around it. And when you have a strategy in place, you can actually finally take action. And when we take action, that's when we resolve the situation. That's when we grow. That's when we move on to the next step and so on. That's when we end up getting our transformation happen and achieve the goals and lifestyles that we desire. But I'm not going to lie about one thing, ladies, and I'm actually going to jump straight into number 2. Some of you are stuck in la la land. I'm afraid to tell you this, but you have to get out of there. There are 2 types of people, and I can tell you that affluent people who are self-made, they belong to the latter category. And I'm talking about, are you a dreamer or are you a doer? This is a very common issue, and I'm sure I have some of you with me here today. There are certain types of people who are just dreamers. They dream, they fantasize, they think about it, they create a whole story or a vision board inside their head, but they never actually act on it. All their kind of dreams just stay dreams. They never become reality because these people get stuck in the dreaming phase, so they never move into action. And remember what I said in point number 1. After you troubleshoot, in the end, you have to take action. Otherwise, what's the point with the whole troubleshooting and analysis of the situation? You probably know that I'm a big believer in law of attraction. And there's a lot of naysayers who say that law of attraction is simply for dreamers and so on. And that's true. If you just dream, visualize, affirmate, and all those things. But what makes law of attraction extremely powerful is when you combine dreaming with doing. So you combine dreaming, visualization, affirmation, and so on with action, and together those 2 become such a powerful combination where truly miracles end up happening. Really, you cannot make your 2020 happen if you're just a dreamer. You have to become a doer. And if you're somebody who thinks that, yeah, well, I guess I belong to the category type of people who are just dreamers, too bad, what can I do about it? Well, that's the thing. You can do a lot of things about it. You can take action. It's not that difficult. It's just in your mindset that you are not capable of taking action. It's just in your head that you're just a dreamer, or it's just a paralyzation almost. It could be good thinking about why you are just a dreamer. I mean, most likely it's because you are stuck in some form of fears, you don't want to get outside of your comfort zone, and so on. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that being a dreamer, it doesn't mean you're cursed for life. You can get yourself out of it, but you really need to take action. If you have it hard to take action, then really action has to become your new mantra, and you really have to be aware of this issue. Moving on to number 3, and in my previous video where I shared about my beauty transformation in 2019, and actually number 3 touches upon what I spoke a lot about in that video, and that is transformation never stops, maintenance is extremely important, and we can never ever become lazy even after we have achieved our goals. Now I am going to actually focus this point more on the physical transformation and the appearance, because if you look at all high caliber women, if you look at all affluent women, all of them really take their grooming procedures into account, and nobody's really being lazy in that department, so neither can you. If you want to be on a certain level, you have to act on that level. You have to take their routine into your level. You cannot just kind of have your old bad habits and your old type of lifestyle and your old kind of self there. If you want to reach a total different level, then you really have to shed a skin and you have to grow a new one. Of course, a sophisticated one. But what I'm trying to say is that it's never just a physical transformation. It's actually a lifestyle transformation. There's a lot of things that come with it, and maintenance and grooming and upkeep and being on top of your game. It is part of this life, of this lifestyle transformation. And all affluent people, even men, tend to this. So it's not something you should just forget once you have, I don't know, reached your desired appearance or done your transformation. Once you've done your weight loss, for instance, you cannot go back to your old bad eating habits because your weight is going to come back in no time. The same goes for any other beauty things that you have done or grooming and so on. It's a lifestyle, not just a temporary transformation. Number 4, affluent people certainly value their own time, and they don't waste their time. They don't waste their time on people, on time wasters. They don't waste time on procrastinating or empty relationships or dead ends or projects that they know are not going to work out. They are extremely cautious about their time, because for them, in one way, time equals money, or time is something that you could be investing somewhere else. I have a favorite quote from a Swedish billionaire where he says, "Every time you say yes to something, you say no to something else." And that is so important to think about it. For instance, every time you say yes to hang out with somebody that you don't really like, that means that you're saying no perhaps to spend some extra additional quality time with your family, perhaps time that could have been more valued for yourself. So you really have to start thinking about, how are you wasting your time? I think in 2020, especially in this fast-paced climate that we live in, we really have to be conscious about how we spend our time. How much time are we spending on social media? I mean, if we have 4 hours of screen time in a day, that's pretty shocking. I mean, do you have 4 hours of quality time with your loved ones every day? You know, you have to start comparing these things. Or are you investing your time in things that will actually move you forward in life, in things that will actually elevate you to the next level? Or are you actually wasting your time, I don't know, hanging around people who are just dragging you back, dragging you down on their level, or making you just not progress? Another common thing that I've really noticed, that with their whole attitude of not wasting time, they're also pretty much clear on what they want, and they go and they get it. And like I mentioned before, they don't often procrastinate. They are somehow go-getters. Of course, there are people who become lazy at a chosen state, but to reach the level of where they at, you cannot be a procrastinator, because if you're a procrastinator, then nothing is ever going to happen. Procrastination is the opposite of taking action. And remember what I said about taking action. That's what we want to do in 2020. And I'm really referring to both men and women, you know, successful businessmen, successful entrepreneurs, perhaps women who are really leveled up in life, women who are also successful businesswomen, or women who have achieved their goals. None of them were procrastinating to get to where they are today. All of them were taking action. All of them had a laser focus on their goals, on their mission. Surely some of them maybe wasted a bit of time here and there while they were learning, but ultimately everybody learned from their mistake and everybody knew where to invest their time so that they can get the biggest return on their time investment. And that's basically what we want to take away with us into 2020, thinking about how should I wisely spend my time. I need to, of course, do things that are important for me in terms of my emotional self, my spiritual self, spending time with loved ones, evolving my career, do things that are important for me, reaching my goals, invest in my transformation, and so on. So you really have to define where you want to be in 2020, what your goals are, and make sure to keep that laser focus so that you don't divert and start wasting time in areas that are not beneficial for you and that are just going to drag you down and drag you back in time to 2019 and before. Number 5. I don't think there are many affluent people who really care what the naysayers say about their decision, their lifestyle, their choices, and so on. They don't really listen because they don't really care. Of course, you might think, well, they afford not to care. They have already reached a certain level. Well, perhaps to some degree is true. But again, if you're going to reach that level, you really have to be immune to naysayers, because what ultimately naysayers do is that they project their own incapability of reaching their goals onto you. Well, basically, they would say, oh, you can't do that, you're dreaming too big, because that's how they feel about themselves, that's how they see their goals, that's why they probably haven't achieved anything. I mean, how many successful people have you heard say other people, oh, you're dreaming too big, although they have achieved loads of big things? None, right? And again, ladies, I'm talking about this laser focus again. When you hear people tell you, you can't do this, don't do that, who do you think you are, you shouldn't be doing this, you're silly, you have these thoughts, or that you're doing this or wanting that, that's just noise. And noise is going to be with you from the beginning until forever. So you can never escape the noise. But what you can do is ignore it, block it, don't listen to it, just keep focused on your goal. That's the only thing you can do, and that's the only thing you should be doing. So make sure you are not diverting, you are not listening to noise. Noise is not part of 2020. Just block it out. It's really that easy. Number 6. Most affluent people that I've met, they have some form of healthy routine or healthy habits. Now, surely there is always this category type of people who do not care, who do not exercise, eat extremely unhealthy, but majority of affluent people, they are actually quite responsible of themselves, and we're talking both men and women. So if you are somebody and you do not have a good diet, you do not have any form of physical exercise, you do not do anything that enriches you spiritually or emotionally or whatever it is that is significant for you, and on top of it, you also don't sleep well, the chances are small that you are going to achieve the level of success that you want to achieve. Because if you want to be on a certain level, you also have to adapt to that level. You have to almost become like an athlete, right? If you want to achieve success, then you really have to have a good routine for yourself so that you are in your best state of mind. Because what happens is that your bad habits are things that are holding you back. If you're not getting sufficient sleep, if you are not eating healthy, if you are not providing your body with the right nutrients, or you're not exercising ever so that you put on weight and you just feel sluggish the entire time, then of course, where are you going to get the energy and the strength and this laser sharp focus that I keep talking about? Where are you going to get that energy from if you're truly ignoring your body's needs and your body's primal functions? You need to really look after your body first and yourself first before you can attract anything else in life, before you can achieve anything big in life. It's not for no reason that all the successful, entrepreneurs, self-made people, why they're all so obsessed with their healthy routines, with their morning routines, with their evening routines, why it has become such a thing. Because it plays such an important role in a person's life, because truly that routine creates magic for a person. That person becomes unstoppable and can climb any mountain if they have a good base behind them. Number 7, ladies, and this is the last point for today. If you want more, you make sure to comment and let me know. Rich people, they surround themselves with other rich people, and it's also for a reason. Now, before I jump into this one, I need to first of all tell you one thing, that isn't it bizarre that if you are not affluent yourself and you want to be surrounded with affluent people, then all of a sudden you're an imposter, you're a gold digger, you are a pretentious person, you are this, you are that, like all of these horrible things, right? But then if you are affluent and you want to surround yourself with other affluent people, then there's nothing strange with that. Just as a little food for thought. Now, I guess what I want to say is that there is a reason to why affluent people surround themselves with other affluent people, and it's not because they don't want to surround themselves with poor people. There's a lot of affluent people who have friends who are less fortunate than them. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm trying to say is that affluent people, they know the big secret that I teach in my online finishing school. The secret that really takes everybody to success and allows everybody out there to climb further and further and further in life. And it's not this massive secret that we cannot talk about, because I'm very much open about that whatever it is that you want to achieve in life is all about your network. The power of networking is incredible, and all rich people, they know this secret, and that's why you will see that all of them have a network. There is very few rich people who do not have any form of network, and they have a network because the people you surround yourself with, you adapt to their energy, your own energy becomes stronger. If you surround yourself with affluent, powerful, intelligent people, then of course you are going to become more like that, rather than if you surround yourself with people who are committing crime and fill their lives only with negativity, then of course that's going to be part of your life too. But of course it's not only about kind of borrowing kind of energy and inspiration and motivation and mentorship from each other, because ultimately that's what happened when you surround yourself with other people. It's in a mutual exchange. You borrow bits and pieces from each other, you inspire each other, and so on. But of course, we also can talk about the things what a proper network also gives you, and that is access. Access to more network, access to more people, access to more opportunities, whether it's personal or business related. You end up making more money, you end up meeting more people for your love life or for friendship, you end up having more experience, and so on. There is so much more you can achieve with a bigger network. So that's why my Elite Finishing School really has a big focus, and that is networking. So it's a lot about transformation, but it's also a lot about networking, both romantically, but also for friendship and also for whatever it is that you want to achieve. So keep that in mind as you go into 2020, because really, ladies, you will be needing a lot of these things if you want to have a really successful year ahead. But again, like I said in the beginning, we can talk all day about the things we should be doing, but unless we take action, nothing is going to happen. Absolutely nothing. So if there's one thing you should take away of today's video, ladies, that is action, action, and action. So having said that, last year I did another motivational video. Jump onto that video, and if you like these type of self-improvement, personal development style videos, then make sure you leave a comment, because otherwise I won't be creating any more. All right, ladies, I will see you in the next video.